This is the behind the scene at W2 Kitchen.
Whoa! Oh, that looks so good.
Okay, let's eat. Today we're making oyster rice.
This is from Den. It's a restaurant in Tokyo by an amazing chef called Zayu Hasegawa. Funny story, I applied for a job there and was rejected about 12, 13 years ago. Gorgeous dish. Absolutely adore his food. So thanks, Zayu.
Now, as a revenge, we're going to make two versions of the dish.
Yeah.
I'm going to cook from the book.
Yes.
1 for 1.
And then I'm going to cook how I would cook the dish.
Had he been hired.
Yeah.
So you're planning a trip to Den.
Or maybe why I was fired.
Rejected. You be the judge. First, we shuck some wonderful oysters. And where are they from again? I forgot.
They're from Essex. What we want to do, one thing I think we want to do anyway, is save the juice from the oysters. I've set up a colander or a sieve over a bowl. Colander won't work because the holes are too big.
Can I take a camera? Guys, if the camera is shaking, that is me. So let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay. So with oysters in the Western world, we shuck from here. In the Asian world, we actually shuck from in the side here.
The right side to be.
The right side.
Because that's where the muscle is.
Next to the conductor muscle.
Sorry, right is a relative term, but like hinge facing you, right side.
Yep, and then that means that you're never going to stab into the oyster. So through the back, it's quite easy to stab into the oyster. Through the side, you're going into the muscle. Not confident on getting the muscle straight away, then start going in closer to the skirt.
Brilliant.
And then every time you get perfectly shucked oysters. The benefit from shucking it through the back is that you will never have shell in your oyster. So if you are eating oysters immediately, shuck them through the back. I wash my oysters, hence I'm keeping the juice separately, and it means that there can never be shell in it and they can never be stabbed. Make sure you use a towel, because if you don't, then the chances of you cutting yourself...
I'm sorry, if you're doing it for the first time, a towel is not enough. Make sure you have very, very thick gloves.
Oh yeah?
I've cut myself with towels.
Gardening gloves?
Yeah.
Gosh, they're
perfect.
So
they're
big,
so
aren't
good.
they? Do you want to keep the camera running just so you can watch me shuck oysters quickly?
Yeah. How is my camera work, by the way? Comment and let me know. Maybe that's my new job. Just have people over and I move around.
We can actually watch your camera work from all the other cameras.
This is the behind the scene at W2 Kitchen. This is our first camera facing us. We have a top down facing the food, and we have, I'm holding one camera, so we have another one here. That's normally just for the talking head, and that's it. That is W2 Kitchen. What else is here?
Welcome to your first introduction.
Stove.
Oh gosh, this one's annoying.
Dishes undone, unfortunately.
Well, look at the bottom of that. It's got literal rocks in it.
Wow. So, through the magic of editing,
I've shucked all the oysters, and then I've got some oyster juice here. There's actually a little bit more from Evan's side, but through reading the book, we think that the oyster juice was not used. We've got Cassie's earthenware pot. We've actually cooked the rice separately, so we're going to re-warm the rice. The reason why it's so nice to cook it in an earthenware pot is the outside of the rice goes sort of crispy and really imparts a lot of flavor to the rest of the rice. However, to start with, we're going to sear the oysters in the butter. So I'm going to give you the most similarly sized oysters because you're such a gentleman.
you're not competing against me, you're competing against the book. I'm just a robot.
Yeah, fair enough.
Now that pan is pretty hot,
Yep.
we're gonna add a bit of butter. Shoulin is helping me oiling the donabe. Alright, once butter's melted, oysters, they go in.
So we've previously cooked the rice separately in dashi.
Just to make life easier.
This is a little bit of a cheat way.
Yes, just because we're doing two.
Yeah. Obviously, cooking it in the earthenware pot will create a little bit of a different flavor, but it's not going to make or break the dish as much as using good oysters, using good dashi, using good rice, using good soy sauce even. So this is a little cheat that you can definitely get away with. We do want to, however, recreate and it's already happened a little bit in here. That browning of the rice on the outside, re-warming the rice through.
Beautiful browning.
Yeah.
So high in protein,
Yeah.
even at such gentle heat. Now, once the other side
Have a
has
nice
a bit
sear.
of color, we're going to add a very generous dash of soy sauce, but bearing in mind that the oysters themselves are salty, and this will be the
Plenty.
amazing emulsion.
You can probably add a little bit of butter to that just to thicken it.
Yeah.
Do you want me to add a
Just a tiny bit, yeah.
knob?
Yes, please. Thank you. The oysters are perfectly cooked once
Oh,
the
yeah.
butter melts. So now,
We are
Set
going to
this
heat
aside.
this first though. And you want to do this on quite a low temperature. We've already got warm rice. We want it to be hot rice again. But we also want the outside to be slightly caramelized.
oh, these oysters look so good. Oh my god, look at this one. Oh wow. And the beauty is we get to eat them.
Yeah, that looks gorgeous. Juices here.
Amazing. Butter and the soy touching bottom the
Yeah.
donabe give us a bit of good burn bits, crispy bits. We'll just let it, just set the stove off
I think that we set that
to the lowest
off and
possible.
on the side.
Yeah.
Have a bit of wine in the meantime.
Cheers.
Cheers.
What are we drinking next?
So to finish it, we're going to turn the heat right up just to make sure we have a really nice sear on the outside of the rice. Reintroduce all the heat to it.
Yep. Once we hear a good sizzle, we're ready. Whoa!
Oh, that looks so good.
Wow. And that's it.
Really good.
The original version,
Well,
to the
semi-translated,
best
but
of our abilities-ish
Yeah.
original version from Den.
so Hasegawa's Kaki Gohan.
What he suggested in the book was to break, mix, and
Yep.
eat.
So,
So yummy though, I kind of want to eat one on its own.
shall we try one first?
Yeah, I mean, come on. Sorry, chef. I forgot his name.
Zayu Hasegawa. So, I think that you should probably get some rice with that
No,
as
I
well.
want
no?
a solo. Right.
Incredible. All right.
Doing it. They're harder to break than I thought they would be.
I would just, yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be good. Decent burn bits. Okay, I think it's a spoon dish.
It certainly is. I sort of see why you would break them up.
The butter actually works really well with the oysters.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh, the burn bit. My god. The butter really emulsified. And the protein from the oyster, of course. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited for yours now.
I don't think that you can get better than that. I think it will just be different.
Yeah. Let me have one more spoon before we.
It will certainly be a lot more complex. I think this is very clean.
Amazing. Oh, that's Marha's dinner.
Yeah. I mean, she was always going to have dinner.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. No pressure, Sheldon.
Well, I'm going to start out by saying that was bloody excellent. And I don't think that it will be better, per se. I think it will just be different. So, for my own version, this is a technique that was used in a restaurant that I worked at to make dashi. Was actually to, instead of use katsuobushi because it was in Europe, use prosciutto or hamon iberico.
And that restaurant actually hired him.
Yes. Yeah. So because the quality of the katsuobushi here is nowhere near as good as in Japan, that was our technique of making dashi. That was, I think it was actually on it was completely different, but it was on a similar sort of level.
I can so see this will how this will be so good.
Like I said, it will be different. It's a lot more complex, and generally I do like simplicity a lot more. So once your pot is lined with I've used prosciutto in this, I'm going to then spread my rice over that so it gets all of the pork fat. And I know it's wasteful, but I don't intend for the prosciutto to be edible.
But we'll eat them anyway.
We probably will. I intend for it to impart its flavor into the rice. I'll start warming up the rice. I'm going to blend 2 of these oysters. And the reason for this is that in that recipe, the oysters get mixed through the rice and cut up. And in my recipe, I'm going to leave them whole.
Just to be more effective, do you want to add maybe a teaspoon of that?
Yeah.
Because it's a crappy blender.
So what I've also done is reduced all the oyster juice from both batches of oysters. It's ridiculously salty.
It's practically how they used to make oyster sauce back in
Yeah.
the day, which you can watch. Here.
Evan's going to move that to the side so that I can sear off the oysters. I've started cooking the rice with the ham on around the outside. It was prosciutto around the outside. Now I want a searing hot pan.
So a mixture of butter,
And pork fat.
Iberico pork fat.
And then while Evan is going to sear off my oysters when it's really, really hot so that it doesn't cook the oysters. I'm talking almost like when it's browning already.
Borderline burn was it?
Yeah, because the oysters will reduce that heat, release some juice.
And
We're
you
gonna
want the
add,
juice to evaporate.
and when that happens, I will also add a little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of our oyster,
Pseudo oyster sauce.
yeah, and a little bit of sugar.
Alright, I'm gonna say that's burn was it.
Yep.
Definitely. The nuttiness.
Brilliant. I'm going to go in with a little bit of our sauce just to help cool the pan down because it is really searing. So our oyster sauce, essentially oyster puree. I'm just going to season with a little bit of our diced, chopped Sancho.
Yeah, look at that. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
beautiful.
We're doing this at home for the first time, by the way. It will splash a bit, yeah? We're both a bit heat proof by now.
Yeah. I'm just going to add a little bit of sugar to that as well.
Even enhance the Maillard reaction, the chemical reaction between the protein, amino acids, and the sugar, further making the oysters taste extremely meaty.
Right. In with a little bit of juice.
Just also to cool down the pan a bit.
Because I've used so much juice of the
I'm
oysters,
going to reduce
I just
the
use
amount
a
of soy sauce
touch
we use.
of soy sauce, and I think that's done.
Yeah.
So if we move that to the side,
Rice back on.
so our rice is back on, and I'm really going to try and take that as far as I can before I take the lid off. As I said, I don't intend to use the layer of prosciutto, so I don't mind if that burns a little bit. So really high heat just to get it started.
Oh yes.
So,
Yeah, that is.
and then to that, I'm just going to quickly mix the oyster through the rice. It smells so good, doesn't it? Just to cook that oyster through, I want to leave the lid on just for a minute. I don't want to cook the oysters that we've seared off anymore.
Alright, now after about a minute,
And it's still cooking through.
The smell is incredible.
And the trick to plating is to always plate it in the direction that you're standing. So for me, this is on an approximately 90-degree angle.
Oh, beautiful.
That looks gorgeous. I'm going to let you pour that over the top. Actually, I'm going to put the lid on for another couple of seconds just to reintroduce some heat to the oysters.
And the cooking liquid
And the cooking liquid.
goes
I'm
through.
really going to let it
Go through the
really
rice.
char as much
Go
as...
through the Iberico. No, sorry. Go through the prosciutto.
Yeah.
Hit the bottom of the pan a bit more charred, a bit more Maillard reaction.
For me, rice is best when you take it almost too far. It's really, really on a fine line. Okay, so our rice is done. And then I'm just finishing it with some kinome. This is the leaf of Sancho. So Sancho is related to Szechuan pepper, which is not related to pepper at all, actually.
A bit of numbing, but way milder than
Yep.
the Sichuan peppercorn.
And I think for me it's also very sort of citrusy and fragrant. Fresh Sancho I find actually has a different flavor to the kinome, even though it's from the same plant.
Can I request shichime just for some red, or are you
I quite like it like that.
okay? Shichime in my own bowl then. Yeah.
And then just to finish it, a touch more of that sauce.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean you want to hear that, don't you?
there's like sediment.
And the more that goes down the side and not necessarily over the rice, the more it will just steam the rice and enhance the flavor.
And that's it.
That's my version of Hasegawa's kaki gohan. Done.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's eat. Well, what's
For this one, because we've created that sauce from the oysters, I don't think that we need to mix it in. I think that what we want to do is have a dinner spoon with an oyster and some rice. But what we do want to do is just make sure that we get right to the bottom of the rice, just so that you get all of the goodness.
I don't know how you ate that. It's really hot.
Not the same dish. Absolutely not the same dish. It can definitely be inspired by, but it's just so different.
Yeah, I would say it's a completely different dish. You know what is for me the tastiest part? Just scrape here, the part between but don't take the prosciutto, yeah? Scrape the prosciutto, take that. That's the tastiest bit. It has a bit of the essence from the oyster.
Yep.
Almost this like mouth coating.
It's almost like instead of cooking rice in a pot, you're cooking it in a bowl of prosciutto, and that burning happens against the prosciutto.
Yeah. Maybe they should have hired you. I love it.